Hey there. If your doctor has told you to get more exercise, but you're not sure where to start, or the idea of a gym after 60 feels daunting, or maybe you've tried walking before and nothing seemed to change, I need you to stay with me for the next few minutes because what I discovered in the research about walking and your heart genuinely surprised me. And it changed everything about how we think about this simple activity. Here's what some so-called gurus will tell you online: that you need high intensity interval training at 60, or that walking is a waste of time. Not enough to make a difference. That is not what the research says, not even close. I'm Ellis, and I do the research so you don't have to. What I'm about to share comes from real studies published in journals like the Journal of the American College of Cardiology, the British Journal of Sports Medicine, and the American Heart Association's own publications. No gimmicks, no exaggerated promises, just the truth about what walking actually does to your heart. And here's where things get interesting, because it's not just about the number of steps. It's about when you walk, how you walk, and one specific change you can make starting tomorrow that the research shows can cut your cardiovascular risk by nearly a third. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to make walking work for your heart, even if you've been walking for years without seeing results. Before I show you the protocol, let me tell you why walking matters more after 60 than it did at 40. And this is where most people get it wrong. After 60, your heart undergoes natural changes. The walls of the left ventricle, the main pumping chamber, can thicken slightly. The heart muscle becomes a little stiffer. It doesn't relax between beats quite as quickly as it used to. That's not disease, that's just time. But here's what the research shows: those changes aren't inevitable. A study published in the journal Circulation followed sedentary older adults who started a regular walking program. After 6 months, their hearts showed measurable improvements in diastolic function. That's the heart's ability to relax between beats and fill with blood. Their arteries became more flexible. Their resting heart rates dropped. 6 months. Nothing extreme. Just walking. Think of your heart like any other muscle. If you never challenge it, it weakens. But here's the key. And this is what surprised researchers. Walking provides something that more intense exercise sometimes doesn't. It provides a sustained, moderate demand. Not a sprint, not a burst. A steady, rhythmic challenge that teaches your heart to pump more efficiently, beat by beat, mile by mile. Now let me ask you something. If you walk regularly, how many steps do you aim for each day? Type it in the comments. You might be surprised by what the research says about the magic number, because it's probably lower than you've been told. Let's talk about what walking actually does to your cardiovascular system. And I'm going to give you specific numbers, not vague claims. A landmark study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association tracked over 16,000 older women for 4 years. Those who walked regularly had a 31% lower risk of cardiovascular events, heart attack, stroke, hospitalization for heart failure, compared to those who were sedentary. 31%. That's not a small number. Another study, this one from the British Journal of Sports Medicine, followed over 50,000 older adults. The finding that changed how I think about walking. The biggest drop in cardiovascular risk happened between 0 steps and about 4,400 steps per day. Not 10,000, 4,400. After that, the benefits continued, but the curve flattened. Each additional step helped, but the first 4,400 were the most powerful. HAT means if you're currently doing very little, maybe 2,000 steps or fewer, the single most powerful change you can make for your heart isn't joining a gym or buying expensive equipment. It's adding about 20 to 25 minutes of walking to your day. That's it. That's the sweet spot where the research shows the biggest return for your effort. Now here's where things get really interesting, because there are 3 specific ways to walk that multiply the heart benefits, and most people completely overlook one of them. Number 1 is the morning walk, specifically before breakfast. And this one has a specific biological reason that most people don't know about. When you walk in the morning before eating, your body is in a fasted state. Your insulin levels are low. Your glycogen, stored carbohydrate, has been partially depleted overnight. And that means your body turns to a different fuel source, stored fat. But the heart benefit isn't about weight loss. It's about what happens to your blood vessels. A study in the journal Hypertension found that morning exercise, particularly moderate steady-state activity like walking, produced a significant drop in blood pressure that lasted for hours afterward. Researchers call this post-exercise hypotension. And for someone managing borderline high blood pressure, that sustained drop can be meaningful. Now, you don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. And if you take medication in the morning, especially blood pressure medication, check with your doctor about timing. But a 20-minute walk after waking, before breakfast, even just 3 or 4 days a week, that's a pattern your heart will thank you for. I spoke with a woman named Patricia, 68, retired school teacher from Ohio. Her blood pressure had been creeping up for 5 years. Her doctor suggested medication, and she asked for 3 months to try lifestyle changes first. Her morning walk routine, 25 minutes every day before breakfast, combined with the foods we talked about in the previous video. After 3 months, her systolic pressure dropped 12 points. Medication wasn't needed. Now, that's not everyone's story, and I'm not telling you to avoid medication your doctor has prescribed, but it shows what consistency can do. Number 2 is the post-meal walk, and this one might be the most underrated heart health intervention I've come across. After you eat, especially after your largest meal of the day, your blood sugar rises. Your body releases insulin. And for about 2 hours after eating, your cardiovascular system is under more stress than usual. Your blood vessels are processing glucose, fat particles are circulating, and your heart is working a little harder. A study published in the journal Diabetologia found that a short walk, just 10 to 15 minutes, after a meal significantly blunted the blood sugar spike. Instead of glucose surging and crashing, it was processed more gradually. Over time, that means less inflammation, less damage to blood vessel walls, and less strain on your heart. Here's the practical side. After lunch, after dinner. Before you sit down for the next 2 hours, walk for 10 minutes. Around the block, down the driveway and back. No special equipment, no need to change clothes. Just get up and move for 10 to 15 minutes while your body processes that meal. A gentleman I spoke with, Harold, 74, retired from a manufacturing plant, started doing this after every dinner. Just 12 minutes around his neighborhood, his fasting blood sugar dropped 15 points in 2 months. And he told me something I'll never forget. He said, "Ellis, I didn't realize how stiff I felt after dinner until I stopped being stiff." Sometimes the simplest changes create the most noticeable results. Number 3, and this is the one most people completely overlook, is the interval walk. Now, don't let the word interval scare you. This is not about sprinting. This is about short bursts of slightly faster walking mixed into your normal pace. Here's why this matters specifically for your heart after 60. Remember how I said your heart muscle can stiffen with age? Interval walking, even mild intervals, trains your heart to switch between resting and working more efficiently. It improves something called the heart rate variability, which is basically your heart's ability to adapt to changing demands. Higher heart rate variability is strongly associated with lower cardiovascular risk. A study in the journal Mayo Clinic Proceedings put older adults on a walking program with one simple modification. For every 5 minutes of normal pace walking, they added 30 seconds of brisk walking. 30 seconds. That's it. After 12 weeks, the interval group showed significantly greater improvements in cardiovascular fitness compared to the steady pace group. Here's the protocol. 5 minutes at your normal pace. Then 30 seconds where you walk as if you're a little late for an appointment. Not running, not breathless, just purposeful. Then back to your normal pace. Repeat that cycle throughout your walk. If you walk for 25 minutes, you'll get 4 or 5 of those 30-second pushes. That's enough to trigger the cardiovascular adaptation without putting stress on your joints. And the beauty of this is that you control the intensity. You're not competing against anyone. You're not following a video that's yelling at you to go faster. You're just listening to your body, pushing a little when you can, and relaxing when you need to. Now, before I go further, I need to address something. Because there's a reason many people walk regularly and still see no change in their heart health numbers. And it's not that walking doesn't work. It's that they're missing one critical element. The mistake is walking at the same pace on the same route for the same duration every single day. Your body adapts to patterns. If you walk at a comfortable pace on flat ground for 20 minutes every day, after about 6 to 8 weeks, your cardiovascular system stops improving. It's learned to do that walk efficiently. It's no longer being challenged. The solution is what researchers call progressive overload, a fancy term for gradually do a little more. Not a lot more, a little. Next week, add 2 minutes to your walk. The week after, add 1 more interval burst. The week after that, find a route with a gentle incline. Small changes layered over time. Keep your heart adapting and strengthening. Think about a plant. You don't dump gallons of water on it once a month and expect it to thrive. You water it regularly. The body works similarly. A little challenge, consistently applied, produces adaptation. Too much challenge produces injury. The art is finding the middle. Let me tell you about James. He's 71. 5 years ago, he had a triple bypass. Before surgery, walking from his bedroom to his mailbox left him winded. His cardiologist told him something that stuck. James, your new heart is only as good as the habits you build around it. James started with 5 minutes. That was all he could do. 5 slow minutes up and down his driveway. 2 months later, it was 10 minutes around the block. 6 months later, 25 minutes through his neighborhood. He added 1 interval, 30 seconds of brisk walking, every 10 days. He walked in the morning before breakfast. Last year, James completed a 5K charity walk. He wasn't fast. He wasn't trying to be. But 5 years after open heart surgery, he walked 3.1 miles without stopping. His cardiologist told him his ejection fraction, that's the percentage of blood your heart pumps out with each beat, had improved from 45% to 55%. That's a number that matters. James told me, I'm not trying to live forever. I'm trying to live well while I'm here. And that's exactly the point. Walking isn't about becoming an athlete at 71. It's about protecting freedom. Being able to walk through a grocery store without getting winded, play with grandchildren without having to sit down, travel without worrying about whether your heart can handle it. Now let me show you what's happening inside your body when you walk consistently, because understanding the mechanism makes it easier to stay motivated. When you walk, your working muscles need more oxygen. Your heart responds by pumping more blood with each beat. That increased flow creates something called shear stress on the inner walls of your arteries. And in this case, shear stress is a good thing. It stimulates the endothelial cells lining your arteries to produce nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the molecule that tells your blood vessels to relax and widen. More nitric oxide means more relaxed arteries. More relaxed arteries means lower blood pressure. Lower blood pressure means less strain on your heart. At the same time, regular walking increases the number of mitochondria in your heart muscle cells. Mitochondria are the tiny power plants inside your cells. More mitochondria means your heart can produce more energy with less oxygen. It becomes more efficient. It's the same adaptation that allows endurance athletes to perform, but at a scale that benefits daily life. And here's the part that researchers are most excited about. Regular moderate exercise like walking reduced chronic inflammation throughout the body. That silent inflammation I talked about in the last video. Lower inflammation means less damage to arterial walls. Less damage means less plaque formation. Less plaque means lower risk of heart attack and stroke. It's a cascade. And it starts with putting one foot in front of the other. Before I close, I want to warn you about two mistakes I see people make with walking. Mistakes that can undermine the heart benefits you're working for. The first mistake is the all or nothing mentality. If I can't do 30 minutes, it's not worth doing at all. The research directly contradicts this. A study in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found that even 3 10-minute walks spread across the day produced essentially the same cardiovascular benefits as one continuous 30-minute walk. If you can only do 10 minutes, do 10 minutes. It all counts. The second mistake is ignoring pain. Some discomfort when you first start walking more is normal. Tight calves, maybe some stiffness. But sharp pain, especially in your chest, jaw, or left arm during walking, is a signal to stop and see your doctor. Walking should challenge you, not hurt you. If you have known heart disease, talk to your cardiologist before starting any new exercise routine. I say this in every video because it matters. Bring what you learn here to your next appointment. If this information was helpful to you, please hit that like button. It helps more people find this content. Subscribe if you want more research-backed information for life after 60. And let me know in the comments, do you walk regularly now? And if so, when during the day do you walk? I read every comment and I'd love to hear from you. I do the research so you don't have to. I'm Ellis. See you in the next one.